almost, Professor. We scrounged up 4 people. Say hello, everybody. I think we're ready to hear her present.
Okay. When I was a child and I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, I knew that a spanking was coming my way. Parents got creative and used things like cords, hangers, shoes. Adults now make jokes out of it, pretending like it didn't have an impact on who they are today. I never felt like I learned a lesson from spanking. I only knew it hurt and that I had to walk on eggshells around my parents. Why do we still view this as an effective form of punishment? Parents make mistakes, but as an adult, it's clear that getting hit never taught me any lesson besides fear. As a parent, I know this generational form of punishment is going to end with me. It's our job as the next generation to be better, so why not call spanking its true name? Abuse. In this speech, we're going to talk about why hitting is ineffective, the impact it has, and useful forms of discipline that do not involve becoming physical. According to multiple sources, studies show that hitting has long-term negative effects on children and is proven to be ineffective. According to the American Psychological Association, the acceptance of physical punishment in the U.S. has declined since the 1960s, yet 2/3 of parents admit to spanking their children. If we agree it's not okay, why are so many of us using this as our first option when it comes to discipline? Looking at the work of the APA Task Force on Physical Punishment of Children, the chairman states that spanking is only effective short-term in stopping behavior in the moment, but long-term, it's not effective and is causing kids to become aggressive. According to the Harvard Grad School of Education, research shows that spanking can alter how a child's brain responds similarly to how it would after severe maltreatment and increases perception of threats. Children and adults who have been spanked are more likely to develop depression and anxiety as well. 62 countries, not including our own, have banned corporal punishment such as spanking, whether it's in home or in society. According to CNN, children who received physical punishment were more likely to become aggressive, throw tantrums, become defiant, etc. Children who were spanked also often experienced further abuse or neglect that would lead to CPS involvement. When you lay out the facts and statistics, it's clear that spanking your children is doing more damage than good. Looking at an article by The Atlantic, it tells us how being spanked as a child can affect our later relationships. According to a study conducted by the University of Texas, this showed that children who were spanked showed a correlation between that and dating violence as an adult. This article really struck a chord with me, as I can imagine a parent who got spanked as a child and grew up to spank their own child. The article defines spanking too often and too frequently as abuse, which it is. I imagine this parent believing because their child gets hit and stops the behavior that it means it worked, and this keeps happening, and suddenly this child is being abused and experiencing the damaging effects long term. According to the Harvard Gazette, a study was conducted where children were to lay down and look at a series of faces in an MRI machine. Children who were spanked had greater activity in their prefrontal cortex to fearful and neutral faces than children who were not spanked. This study shows how spanking can have a significant effect on brain development. A journal by Science Daily cites the same study conducted by Harvard and notes that even if we do not view spanking as a form of violence, children respond to it similarly to abuse. As a parent, I get frustrated, but I know not to hit. What do you do in the heat of the moment that is appropriate to the situation and the age group? Looking at an article by Healthy Children, there are a multitude of great alternatives that suit a lot of age groups. One way is by showing your child right from wrong so they can learn what they should be doing versus what they should not be doing. Another is to set limits and give consequences when limits are crossed. Examples of consequences can look like if a child does not pick up their toys, they will not be able to play with their toys for the remainder of the day. Do not always focus on the bad behavior. Give them positive attention, praise them when they are doing well, and always hear them out. Ignore the bad behavior. Yes, I said it. If they want to be praised for good behavior, they sure are not going to get anything for bad behavior. If they don't get any reaction, they might just give up. Offer redirection, and if they need to be alone or sit in timeout, that's perfectly okay too. Something I found helpful on Very Well Family was introducing new skills. An example of that is showing them how they can calm down after a temper tantrum, as opposed to just hitting them to make them stop. After reviewing the facts, I stand by my stance that spanking is an ineffective and cruel form of discipline. It can have lasting effects on kids and adults. From further research, we know there are better ways to discipline a child without physically harming them. Being spanked as a child and being a parent now, I understand how being hit can make a child feel. It's my responsibility as a parent to end spanking with me and use effective and less harmful forms of punishment instead. I hope parents and elders begin realizing that hitting is not the answer to our problems. Our children can thrive by experiencing non-harmful forms of punishment in the long run. The end.